evening and welcome to our 9 p.m. English news brought to you live by RTD. My name is Anna Farah. Djibouti, Senegal. The health minister meets his Senegalese counterpart. Refugee crisis, number of displaced people have almost doubled in 6 months. And now the national news. From 21st to 23rd of August 2017, a delegation led by the Minister of Health has made a walking visit to Senegal in a framework of strengthening our centuries-old link through the strengthening health cooperation between the two nations. Warmly welcome and fraternally by the Senegalese Minister of Health and Social Action, the Professor Ewa Mary Kolthik. The delegation of Djibouti has been able to make the emerging indifference extract medical and allied health of the country. In fact, the Minister of Health and the delegation that accompanied profited guide visit to the main hospital in the city of Dakar, the National Pharmacy of Supply, or even the National School of Health and Social Development. At the end of his working visit, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ilmi Okia, has initiated a memorandum of agreement with his counterpart of Senegal, Professor Awa Mary Kolthik, focused on the cooperation between the two countries in the field of health. At the end of the signing memorandum, the Minister of Health and Social Action of Senegal, Professor Awa Mary Kolthik, is returning to the first fruitful to this South cooperation by re-entering the commitment of his government to establish close and fraternal relations within the Republic of Djibouti. For his part, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ilmi Okie, thanks his Senegalese counterpart, Professor Awa Mary Kolthik, for a warm welcome and also the full success that has known in this mission of 3 days, which was remarkably successful. The Minister of Health briefly recalled the fraternal relation and secular with the band of two nations who have helped to establish a solid base on a bilateral cooperation at the end of this mission of 3 days that he qualified as a success. In the margin of his working visit, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ilmi Okie, has met with the student Djiboutian in Senegal. The Minister met with the student at the Hotel Teroubi in the presence of other members of the delegation of Djibouti. And of course, this meeting was the Djiboutian students had the opportunity to raise and share the problem with the formulated grievance with attraction with their university curriculum. However, regarding to the other student grievance, the minister had promised to interlocate the transmission these different points to the department in charge of higher education in Djibouti. He also urged not to spare no effort to the success of their studies in order to participate in an active way in the development of their nation. A roundtable on the validation of a marine code for the governmental body of Federal Republic of Somalia was held this morning at the Campeski Palace Hotel. The two ministers of Somali, in the occurrence Mariam Awais, Minister of the Transport and Maritime Transport, and Abdullah Umar Wa'ais, responsible for the fishery and the fishery resources, participated in this work. This meeting, which saw last days, will work together and discuss on the reflect of the article of this maritime code. It is organized with the support of the IOM, the International Marine Organization. The Minister of Equipment and the Transport, Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Halam, opened this work. It had on the side the Director of Marine Affairs, Ali Shehem. Listen to them, please.
And develop the Somali flag and related maritime industries, and we are willing to take opportunity offered by the international conventions which Somali is a member. The Somali federal government is willing to consider adopting other international conventions in which Somali can benefit by international compliance and adhere with the new legislations to the rules and the obligations of international shipping. The Somali federal government is seeking the IMO support for ratification of IMO conventions such as SOLAS, MARPOL, STCW, SUA, etc., to which the country is not yet member, and to provide a scholarship for the Somali national qualified candidates to study World Maritime University and IMO International Maritime Law Institute. The Ministry is the national focal point of IMO and Djibouti Code of Conduct under its authority. The Somali federal government is responsible for everything relating to maritime matters within Somalia, including the implementation of all maritime legislation, the operation of Somali flag vessels, development and operation of all the Somali ports, security of all land-based port infrastructures, including the Somali territorial waters.
According to the Minister of the Transport, Mohamed Abdel Qadir Musa, this workshop presents a good opportunity to renew contact and to discuss problems and mutual interests of each of us with the solid support of the IMO in collaboration with UNSOM. For more detail, listen to the Minister of the Transport, Mohamed Abdel Qadir Musa.
This workshop presents a good opportunity to renew contact and discuss problems of mutual interest with and amongst all of us, with the strong support from IMO in collaboration with UNSOM. The Government of the Republic of Djibouti, represented at this workshop by Mr. Ali Mirah, Director of Maritime Affairs, Directorate of Maritime Affairs under my ministers, will be happy to share our own maritime administration experience with you, if required, so that can learn from each other. I am informed that the ultimate objective of IMO's technical assistance to your country since 2014 is to assist your country establish a sustainable maritime administration. By so doing, take complete charge and control of your vast coastline and the abundant economic resource. Therefore, as you seek to establish your own maritime administration or a Department of Maritime Affairs within the Ministry of Transport, as the case may be, I would like to remind you, and especially my colleagues, the honorable ministers and the members of Somalia Parliament, government officials and regional authorities present in this room today, that even when the maritime administration is established, take note that on its own it cannot ensure or guarantee quality, as it would require the support of the government for the speedy ratification and implementation of international relevant instruments or conventions, especially those issued by IMO.
The Minister of Decentralization had organized yesterday at the village of Dai in the region of the Jura a consultation meeting and exchange between the regional elected representative and the staff of the ministry, with the participation of the 5 presidents of the regional council and a technical staff. Listen to Saeed Mohammed for more detail, please.
The Deputy Minister in charge of decentralization, Mr. Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, went to work as usual to maintain the momentum of his young department. He also organized a technical conclave with the President and members of the executive councils of 5 regions of the interior of the country to make transition between the summer holidays and the coming anthem. The current activities undertaken in the context of the implementation of local taxation, which will have to give meaning to the decentralization process, for which taxation officers from the Directorate General for Budget had been allocated to local and regional authorities to support them to take stock of the collaboration between local and regional authorities and decentralized services, to list essential services not available in the regions, to renew skills transfer, to discuss regional developments, to encourage greater involvement and more effective local elected representative in the implementation of development projects undertaken in their respective regions, and finally, to reflect and get fully involved in the improvement of the current legal framework, where on the agenda of this meeting, the actual work of this conclave has begun by a review of the activities carried out by the local and regional authorities during the past season in order to define, in the light of this meeting with the Minister, a better direction for the future. The second item dealt with the state of implementations of local taxation, were also on the agenda. In addition to the progress of this census activities, the degree of collaboration between the authorities of local regions and the tax officers of the Directorate General of Budget made available to them in order to support them in the census of both to build and develop, but also on the potential activities that will be taken in the coming week. Recently will be marked by the preparations of the state finance law. In 2018, the authorities of the territorial were invited by Minister Aramis and had to think about the formulations of the proposal of the new tax to be introduced, taking into account the specificities of each region.
After the closure of the meeting, the Minister Aramis has insisted on the fact that it will continue to exercise its role as a sole authority direct policy at the level of the government of the regional council, the communal and the town hall to advance the decentralization process in accordance with the roadmap that has been charged by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. The Ambassador of Djibouti, Mr. Nasser Mohamed Osbo, presented 25 August to Mexico President Enrique Pena his letter of receival accrediting Ambassador of Djibouti in Mexico during the maintenance which has followed granted me a brief maintenance. He said the Mexican President has expressed his willingness to encourage advanced policy in the service of peace, progress and common development. It also expresses his willingness to pursue identity and cooperation with Africa and in particular in Djibouti. The Mexican President has charged the Ambassador Nasser Osbo to transmit his message of greeting and friendship to His Excellency the President of the Republic Ismail Omar Guelleh. The shift has been the opportunity to exchange with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Luis Videgaray Caso, and his team on the opportunity for bilateral cooperation and multi-sectoral approach, as well as the consultation and collaboration at the level of international forum. The President of the Djiboutian Court of First Instance, Nimam Hamoud Noor, is announcing due to the celebration of Yom Arafah celebration schedule for 31 August 2017 for the hearing of panel chamber offense on Thursday 31st of August 2017 will be advanced on Wednesday 30 of August 2017 in the courtroom 1 from 8 a.m. We have learned with great sadness the death that occurred on Tuesday night, Friday, on late Daher Gerdon Durir following a long disease. The disease was born in 1950 in Djibouti. He came from a great family of Geldons of Ombole. The disease Daher Gerdon Durir was a militant of the independence. He was the territorial guard until 1970. Then in 1977 he joined the National Police until 2004 with the rank Chief of Officer. He left behind a large family of 11 children and 6 grandchildren. In this painful circumstance, we send our deep condolences to the family, relative and friend of the late Daher Gerdon. Let the powerful host it to his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. More from the African continent. the internally displaced person of the Democratic Republic of Congo has almost doubled in 6 months, mainly as a result of violence in Kasai and conflict between the Pygmies and the Batus in the southeast. More detail, listen to Said Mohammed, please.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo have almost doubled in 6 months, mainly as a result of violence in the Kansai and conflict between Pygmies and Bantus in southeast. Over the entire Congolese territory, UNHCR has seen an increase in the number of IDPs from 2 million in nearly 2017 to nearly 4 million 6 months after. There are a total of 3.8 million internally displaced persons in the country, according to the UNHCR. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the country with the largest number of internally displaced persons in the world. The violence in the Kansai has pushed 1.4 million people to leave their home for the past years. They also killed more than 3,000 people, including 2 UN experts. In the southeastern province, Tanganyika, clash between Pygmies and Bantu also caused massive displacement of the population, according to UNHCR. These displaced people were added to those of the conflict in the east of the country in crisis for 20 years. Refugees who request UNHCR for possible return, the UN agency provides them with the best information on the complex security situation prevailing in this part of the country.
New bags of cigarettes with the image warning consumers against tobacco-related disease were put up for sale Saturday in Senegal. The government is relentlessly working to stop the best way it can ban. For more detail, please watch this video.
Smoking causes a slow and painful death. Smoking makes it impotent and sterile. Could read on these new cigarette packs, a famous brand where we see a man visibly sick, bedridden and under respiratory assistance. A law already dating from March 2014 requires cigarette manufacturers to mention such information under penalty of sanctions, said Saturday the head of the Legislative Office of the Ministry of Health, Mokhtar Ba. The 2014 law was followed by a decree for its application in December 2016. A delay had been given to the manufacturers and it expired today. Compulsory the manufacturers have to follow, if not, they are subject to sanction, said Mokhtar Ba.
That's all for this evening news. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a wonderful evening.